r/AskReddit. Spouses and partners of Reddit, what red flags are you glad you ignored? I thought he was too rigid the way he runs his life. He has his routines and follows a schedule for everything. 4 years and some later, as it turns out, eating home-cooked meals and going to bed at 11 and waking up at 7 every day does wonders to your health. I go to bed at 10, get up at 7 and feel like I got hit by a bus every morning. How does one sleep? The serial killer room. I went home with him for the first time to a completely blank room. No personal possessions, white bedspread and pillows. The windows had bars on them. I gave him a cool picture for his walls, didn't get murdered, and been living together 2 years now. He's just tidy. Of course you haven't been murdered. What kind of savage commits murder in a room with white sheets? Then you have to replace them with every new victim. This isn't amateur hour here. Her mother, we moved 500 miles away and problem solved. What's the difference between in-laws and outlaws? Outlaws are wanted. The best thing about distant relatives is the distance. I mistook my husband's relaxed attitude with not caring. Nope. He really is that easygoing. Now I love his even temperament. Sometimes is annoying but is mostly calming. This is me. Calm and relax AF. My girlfriend is a ducked up hurricane but we do love each other. Lol. Best of luck to both of you. My partner had a string of crazy ex-girlfriends which is usually a massive red flag. Turns out he has really low self-esteem and ended up with these awful girls because he didn't think he deserved any better. He'd keep trying to work on the relationship while beyond the point most people would bail, after them gaslighting, cheating, burning his belongings, etc. I'm so glad I ignored that red flag. He's the sweetest guy and their crazy was completely not his fault, beyond poor judgment dating them in the first place lol. Okay, but how do we know that you're not also crazy? I thought she was too sensitive, especially since I'm the complete opposite of that. She brings joy and excitement to my life and I wouldn't change a thing now. Exactly the same for me but the opposite, I'm the emotional one. Was worried he was dispassionate and bored by life, and that me as someone very emotional and excitable would tire of his meh attitude to life. Turns out he brings me the stability I'm unable to provide myself, and I bring him the wonder he was missing. Our attitude is very much that we are a perfect couple because we are so different, no point both of us bringing the same thing to the table. Between us we're practically Superman, so as a team we can do anything. When I met my wife and we became more and more intimate, she opened up to me and told me she didn't want to have secrets from me. She then proceeded to tell me the story how she had spent some time in a psychiatric clinic recently and what she had been through. I was a little bit scared first, but she managed to convince me that she had made a full recovery. She told me she went full jackpot with me and risked me getting up and leaving her, but she didn't want to build our relationship on a lie. We have been married for 15 years now and she's the love of my life. She doesn't like pancakes. It is still annoying, and she says I should just make them for myself, but I'm like, how am I gonna make pancakes for one person? Good. She is super great though. So I'm over it. What are you making? Pancake? I was afraid my younger boyfriend was too immature for me. After time together I realized he is actually very smart and responsible, just has a stupid hilarious sense of humor. I love him and am so glad I didn't jump to conclusions back when we were dating. Jesus Christ, I misread boyfriend as brother and was so confused why this didn't have more replies. Edit. Glad to see my highest voted comment is about accidental incest. We are the complete opposite. I love to flit around, not staying anywhere too long and live in the short term without any kind of planning on impulse. She hates the idea of being without a long-term plan and knows exactly what she wants to do with the rest of her life. She has managed to help me sort out some kind of realistic path for the rest of my life, our lives, and I've managed to get her on a rough planned tour of Southeast Asia. Keep going till the money runs out. We have managed to develop the parts of our personalities that made life difficult for us, and each individually blossomed as a pair. We are currently on our way to Malaysia, and I've managed to stash a ring in my backpack. She makes me excited for the rest of my life. Edit. She said yes. He had severe depression, no job, had dropped out of uni, lived at home with his parents, and on meeting him, clearly autistic. He's ducking wonderful. The kindest, gentlest man I've ever met. He works so hard to overcome so much all the time, despite it being so difficult for him. He supports me through everything unquestioningly, put in hours of effort to help me through my degree and professional exams, and when I was pushing for promotion. He always has time for me, no matter what. We've been together 8 years, married for 6 years. He got his degree through distance learning and is now doing a master's and has a job. He achieved so much and he just needed some love and support to get there. I'm so ducking lucky to have him. My wife is super smart and I'm pretty average. She's doing incredible things in school and I didn't even graduate. She's really intimidating. She looks past that and recognizes what I'm good at and praises me for them. She's the best. She wouldn't organize for me to meet her family. It's 2 years in, we're now married, and I still haven't met them, but it's okay. I've met her friends and for her they are her family, so that's all okay in my book. Both of our families were worried the 7-year age gap would be a big hurdle to overcome. I was 20 and she 27. 11 years together and 5 years married. It's never been an issue. Distance, he was in Australia. I was in America. We made it work for 5 years, happily married for 13. When on our second date he was super nervous and giving me some real timid guy vibes. He was doing this thing where he would look at me and nervously bite his lip. At the time I had only ever dated super macho, very confident men. It was a real turn off and I distinctly remember thinking ugh okay just get through this date. Best decision ever. 6.5 years later he is my husband, and the best thing that ever happened to me. He is just the best thing in the world and I couldn't give a shit about those type A guys I used to go for. I'm so glad I ended up with him because he's exactly what I need. He's way braver and more confident in himself than the kind of men I thought I was into. And his lip biting thing when he's nervous is rare and super cute. I really love my husband. Gonna go tell him again. Edit. Wow, you guys are so sweet. I had no idea so many people would relate to our story. Husband thinks we are famous now. He has just taken off his trousers in the hallway, yelled, "I don't remember, stop asking me," given me a kiss and gone upstairs to play on his PlayStation. Love is real, guys. My boyfriend came onto me really fast and strong, which I've always been told was a red flag. Asked me out 3 days after meeting me, told me he loved me a week later, wanted to get married after 4 months. Turns out whirlwind romances do exist because we're perfect for each other and still going strong 5 years later. I was the weirdo. I knew about my husband the day after we got together for our one night stand. I told him straight out that I thought it was love and that I wasn't fucking around. Was he in or out? Thankfully he said he felt the same way. Actually I said I was too old to be ducking around. I was 22. In hindsight that is way younger than it felt at the time. 16 years together next week. She lived with her ex still when we met and started dating. Good on you for sticking with it. I've encountered this situation before and just noped out. We've been married for a month now and we have a beautiful baby girl on the way. It was not easy and we both had to fight through a lot of bullshit our ex tried playing. Bit of a twist in that I was the partner with all the red flags. My now husband was pretty against dating someone with mental health issues when we started going out, due to bad past experiences. I've got bipolar disorder and a history of abuse that left me with a screwed up relationship with sex. In retrospect, I was the opposite of what he was looking for. But he stayed because he realized I was working my tits off to get better and he's still amazed at the progress I've made. I think he realized that mental illness and trauma are not necessarily red flags if the person with them isn't using you as a crutch. He said he was involuntarily celibate. Thankfully he just meant that he hadn't had sex in a while despite wanting to, not that he believed women were beholden to give him sex because he is male. He hadn't even heard of incels. Thank God. My spouse's very weird and unusual sense of humor. I was afraid he was mentally unstable. He would draw weird cartoons, mimic people's voices and mannerisms, creepily accurate, and tell the craziest stories. Turns out he's just ducking hilarious and he usually keeps me belly laughing once a week. Rumors that he was a douche. Turns out he was really sweet. Or, both of you might be douches. Yeah, I know a couple and the girl thinks the guy is sweet, but he's a total douche, and he's turned her into one as well. Her 3 kids. At first I was like, I don't know about this. All it took was one hug and it changed to, okay, I can live with this. Reminds me of my dad. He married my mother when she had 4 children all age 5 or under. Y'all are the best type of people. How she'd worry over the smallest things. Anything that went wrong, dentist, food going off, traffic, not having enough time to wash her hair, would send her into a panic and put her in a foul mood that could last 4 hours. I'm the exact opposite. Completely laid back. If the dentist doesn't have good news, I'll accept it and not worry. If food goes off, I'll pop down to the shops and grab some more, and if we're late because of traffic, that's just how it goes. I thought our moods would be the thing to end us, to slowly wear down my patience to a point where I'd stop trying to comfort, reassure and calm her down. I was wrong. Reader, I've never been happier. And we're good for each other. I can calm her down and she can make me care about things I didn't used to think were a big deal but ultimately are. We work so well together. I was worried that the gap between our family's wealth would be an issue, lower middle versus upper middle. It probably would have been if I were with her sister. I was always told to date a man that treats his mom right and is a family man because I could expect him to treat me the right way. Miso hates his mom and has always been private about his family. We celebrate 7 years together next month, and I've never regretted looking past the family thing.